Your top stories this evening, sponsored by Courts Bringing Value Home. Day 23 of the election of fraud trial, AMCHAM observer struggles to recall key events in trial. From the bowels of poverty to Parliament, Dr. Hinds ready to take up parliamentary seat. Legal showdown likely between Mayor and City Council and residents of Subrianville over Farnum ground. TASINPANSA Village 2025 kicks off on Main Street. Indigenous nations showcase culture, craft and culinary arts. And in sports, former national cricketer secures ministerial post. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm ALETHEA Grant with the Tuesday 16th September 2025 edition of the HGP Nightly News. This is what you should know this evening. The office of the president seemed to have now seized control of the press in Guyana and is now deciding which media outlets cover events with President Irfaan Ali. The president on Tuesday hosted his first press conference since his re-election, and several accredited media houses were not invited to provide coverage. Among the media houses not invited were HGP Nightly News, Stabroek News, Prime News, Capital News, News in Depth, and Big Smith News Watch. The Department of Public Information decided not to officially issue an invite via email or the DPI Press Corps group. Editor-in-Chief of Stabroek News, Anand Prasad, wrote on Facebook that, quote, President Ali wants to be treated with respect, but his own office has shown great disrespect today by not inviting accredited media houses to his press conference, end of quote. Meanwhile, at least one journalist who was present at the press conference was told that only 6 areas, 6 questions will be allowed. That journalist promptly left the press engagement. 4 days ago, Reporters Without Borders called on President Irfaan Ali's administration to take concrete steps to improve press freedom in Guyana. Guyana currently ranks 73rd in the 2025 World Press Freedom Index. An AMCHAM observer's memory gaps and lack of evidence dominated day 23 of the ongoing election fraud trial, raising questions about the weight of his testimony. Find out more from Tiana Cole.
Mohammed Raham, who served as an observer with the American Chamber of Commerce, AMCHAM, during the 2020 general and regional elections, returned to the witness box on Tuesday for cross-examination by defense attorneys Nigel Hughes, UC Anderson, Ronald Daniels, and Darren Wade. Attorney Darren Wade began by asking Rahman whether he observed former Minister Vol Lawrence tabulating statements of polls, SOPs. The witness responded that he could not say, adding that he did not recall seeing Lawrence participate in the tabulation process. When asked if he could assist the court in determining whether irregularities occurred in Region 4, Rahman admitted he could not be certain. Attorney UC Anderson then pressed Rahman about information he had received regarding Enrique Liven being found on the ground floor with a flash drive. Rahman testified that the information was provided to him by a non-observer, but after 5 years he could not recall who gave it to him, nor could he verify whether it was true. When asked directly if he had any evidence against the defendants attempting to deceive the Guyanese people, Rahman answered no. He also admitted that he did not observe any of the defendants' editing documents, though he did see a declaration being made but could not say whether it was false. On their questioning from attorney Ronald Daniels, Rahman confirmed that, in his capacity as an observer, he did not make any contributions outside of his official remit. He also acknowledged that there was no introduction or identification parade between himself and the defendants. Attorney Nigel Hughes challenged Rahman on whether he recalled observers in 2020 being disruptive. The witness said he could not recall with certainty and likewise could not say whether he was present when any observer made demands of the returning officer. Hughes then suggested that Rahman's testimony was weakened by the passage of time, pointing out that much of his evidence was drawn from his written statement rather than independent recollection. Muhammad partially agreed. The witness later confirmed that he made notes of the events at the Region 4 office during the elections, but admitted those were never submitted either to the Guyana Police Force or the Guyana Elections Commission, GCOM. The charges stem from investigations into the March 2020 general and regional elections. Multiple former officials of the Guyana Elections Commission and others faces allegations of attempting to rig the election results. The defendants are collectively facing 19 conspiracy charges related to alleged electoral fraud. The prosecution has, among other things, indicated plans to call approximately 73 witnesses. Tiana Cole reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
A scholar, political activist, servant leader, Buxtonian, podcaster and father, Dr. David Hinds, who is touted to have been misconstrued and misunderstood on many issues affecting our nation, heads to Parliament to take up a seat in the 13th sitting. Marvin Cato reports.
Dr. David Hinds, the man from simple beginnings to big things, is now following the footsteps of party stalwarts Dr. Walter Rodney, Hugh Sequoyana, and Dr. Rupert Roopnarine to the People's House. He said he is pleased to serve his country at the parliamentary level and will be doing so with an open mind.
Well, I don't know what to expect because our parliament has become very unparliamentary, and it is not something that I look forward to, that aspect of parliament.
Dr. Hinds is of the view that there is a lot more that could be done, and he sees himself making a significant contribution in parliament and, by extension, educating and edifying the society.
I believe a society functions best when its institutions functions at its optimum. And the Parliament, or the National Assembly, is one of the three foundation branches of government.
He has contributed to the development of many academically, and he believes that the time has come for him to deliver to Guyana the best version of himself with the intention of furthering democracy.
Despite what that institution has become in terms of people being very unparliamentary, people cursing people down and so on, I intend to deviate from that. I am not going to Parliament to curse down anybody.
In addressing the naysayers, Dr. Hinds is adamant that his intention in Parliament will be to use his academic skills, his decades of experience in politics, and his voice to better the lives of the ordinary Guyanese citizen with an aim to lifting Guyanese out of poverty. Dr. Hinds is adamant that persons who believe he is there for cosmetic change, they should think again. He posited that he will endeavor to bring about fundamental change in Guyana. He sees himself as someone who is left of center, reformist, and is passionate to see the ordinary people of Guyana benefit.
We want to know how that fast-growing economy can translate into the fundamental change in the lives of people. How can 46% of people who are in poverty be lifted out of poverty?
Marvin Cato reporting for HGP Nightly News.
Antonio Day tells us that the construction of the 300-megawatt power plant at Wales is reportedly to be 78% complete, while the entire project is approximately 68% complete. This is according to information released by the Office of the Prime Minister.
The major components of the 300-megawatt power plant at Wales, such as the gas pipeline, is completed and ready to deliver gas when the power plant becomes operational, and a near-completed transmission line are already in place. This was related by Prime Minister Brigadier Retired Mark Phillips, who visited and conducted an assessment on the Wales Gas Energy Project located in Region 3. The third phase is happening right now, involves the pouring of the concrete to mount all turbines and having the natural gas plant up and running. And that is perhaps the most important and complex part of this project, according to PM Phillips in a statement published by the Office of the Prime Minister. Addressing Guyana's rising energy needs, the Prime Minister noted that the peak demand grew from 180 megawatts on September 11, 2024 to 221 megawatts on the same date in 2025, the statement flagged. He stressed the demand will climb even higher by 2026, and the government must be prepared to meet this growth while maintaining adequate reserves. He stressed that the gas-to-energy project is essential to Ghana's development, supporting housing, schools, hospitals, and other infrastructure. Once completed in 2026, it is promised that the electricity costs will be reduced by 50%. The construction of the 300 megawatt power plant is 78% complete, while the entire project is said to be 68% complete. On September 22nd, the contractor Lindsayka will start pouring the second foundation, with the third and fourth foundation scheduled to follow at intervals of 7 to 10 days. The foundation will support the plant's combined cycle system, which consists of 4 57 megawatt gas turbines and 2 steam turbines, together generating a total of 300 megawatt. The contractor has established a 120-day timeline to complete all foundation works, with plans to ramp up the workforce to ensure timely completion. Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Stay tuned. More news after this break. Thanks for staying with us. You're with the HGP Nightly News. It would appear that the Georgetown Mayor and the City Council and the residents of Subrianville could be headed for a legal showdown, as residents are unhappy that the mayor's private school was given the green light to erect temporary structures after a fire ravaged the school earlier this year. Marvin Cato reports.
Residents of Subrianville are peeved at the decision or lack thereof by the Georgetown Mayor and City Council to grant the owner of Mays School permission to build prefab structures on the Farnum community ground, which is a community space enjoyed by residents for recreation and other activities. In a press statement on Tuesday, residents of Subrianville indicated that they met with the mayor and city councillors and the school's owner David Sugrim and his attorney-at-law to discuss the construction of prefab buildings on the Farnum playing field without permission from the mayor and city councillors, as admitted by them on the 9th of September 2025. Residents had learned after that interaction that there was no application for the construction of the prefab structures and that the mayor and councillors had refused to halt the illegal construction despite objection. Residents are of the view that they are now attempting to legalize an illegality. It must be noted that the developer is executing prefab construction on more than 8 prime lots in Subrianville's Farnum's playing field and is likely to utilize more ground in the coming days. Mays School occupied 2 house lots in 3rd Avenue. Further, Mayor of Georgetown, Mr. Alfred Mentor, said permission was granted to the school for 1 year from March 2025 to December 2026. MNCC discussed the matter and granted the permission for Sugrim to use Farnum without due process. Residents say they have been pressuring the MNCC to provide information in relation to the ownership of the school and the land it occupied before the fire, in order to be appeased that the land grabbing is not taking place. To date, that question posed by the community group has remained unanswered. Marvin Cato reporting for HGP Nightly News.
Antonio Day tells us that newly appointed Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, Priya Manikchand, met with regional representatives in education, health, and the public infrastructure sectors, as well as senior functionaries in the subject ministries to discuss ways in which communities can experience significant development.
Had a good talk in closed doors about where we intend to go. I would like to see good governance, accountable governance, effective delivery of services.
That was newly appointed Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, Priya Manikchand, giving an update on her engagement with regional representatives in education, health, and public infrastructure. Minister Manikchand said that the meeting with these regional representatives were necessary to discuss the way forward and approach towards governance at local authorities, such as neighborhood and regional democratic councils. The newly appointed minister noted that development must be inclusive and no community should be left behind.
We want to make sure every household feels what President Irfanali wants them to feel, which is our love and our kindness through the various services. I explained how important their roles are and how much they can get in the way of that if they don't function.
She noted that many of these regional representatives have indicated their challenges, which will not be unnoticed. Manikchand stressed the need for full cooperation at the level of local governance.
And it's important that we get the regional bodies working and working effectively, because when they don't, it's people in villages that suffer.
The member of cabinet admitted that there are some protracted projects in communities that require evaluation and must be expedient. Minister Manichan noted that she will ensure these projects are completed and do not encounter further delays.
There are a couple of things that we have to do as emergencies. What are projects that have not been completed? Why have they not been completed? How are we moving past the point we're at right now to completion? What are some of the challenges they have with delivering?
Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Solid waste management continues to be a major national concern as Guyana's growing population and expanding communities are generating more waste daily. Minister of Local Government and Regional Development Prem Manikchand has assured the public that steps will be taken to urgently address these issues to ensure safer health and more sustainable communities. Jade June reports.
Minister of Local Government and Regional Development Prem Manikchand has highlighted the urgent need for stronger waste management systems as Guyana continues to develop. Speaking at the Ags Bosch sanitary landfill site, the minister underscored that solid waste management is not only a pressing environmental issue, but also one that directly affects the well-being of families across the country.
Solid waste management is a huge area and big concern for many residents across the country.
She explains that waste volumes have increased significantly, with the number tripling daily. She noted that this rapid growth requires more efficient management and monitoring to reduce odors, smoke, and other environmental concerns.
We've moved from 400 tons per day to 1,200 tons per day. We've moved from about 100 trucks dumping here to 300 to 400 trucks dumping here.
Residents of Eccles, Providence, and Prospect were among those who voiced complaints about the effects of landfill operations, citing unpleasant smell and smoke. She further noted that the ministry is working closely with the Office of the First Lady in beautification projects across villages and communities. The government, she said, will be expanding these efforts by focusing not only on urban centers but neighborhood democratic councils, ensuring waste management solutions are spread equitably.
We're going to be doing that, but we are also going to be looking at solid waste management in NDCs and in smaller villages as well as in a large way in regions.
The government's goal is to create clean, attractive and safe environments where families can enjoy their surroundings while reducing the negative impacts of poor waste disposal. Jada June reporting for HGP Nightly News.
We have more news for you after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back with the HGP Nightly News as we continue. TASINPANSA, a Makushi word for we are happy, has returned to the Main Street Avenue as part of activities in celebration of Indigenous Heritage Month. Antonio Day was there and filed this report.
So behind me is the entry to the TASINPANSA village, where 9 of the indigenous nations gather to showcase their culture through craft, clothing, and culinary arts. Mailing pallets and Hinds of unique Amerindian handicrafts from the village of Santa Arata in Region 3 showcase a variety of indigenous craft made from the Ite palm.
These are all handmade stuff, and it's made out of Tibisiri straw.
How long have you been doing this?
We have been in business for over 15 years.
Hinds, who is from the Arawak Nation, noted that she has business establishments in Georgetown. Luana Willis, an exhibitor from Mabaruma Region 1, said yearly she looks forward to participating at the TASINPANSA village along Main Street.
Thank God for the strength that you have given us, in spite of some of the challenges. These crafts are being done by the Tibisiri, right? All our Tibisiri work.
Willis, who is from the Arawak Warao Nation, showed her skillfully made hammocks, jewelry boxes, hats, and other products made from the Tibisiri. There are other exhibitors with similar handmade materials. Nightly News also paid a visit to Pamela English from Region 1, who had famous and traditional indigenous beverages such as potato wine, commonly known by the Guyanese parlance as fly wine.
This is made from a potato only that grow in the swampy area. It is not for eating or cooking, just to make this special drink. And it will also drink light, like a soft drink, and then you set it to a few weeks and peppermint.
She informed that fly wine has good nutritional values, especially for persons living with diabetes. I'm Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News from the TASINPANSA village, wishing each and every one of my Indigenous brothers and sisters a happy Heritage Month.
The North Rheinveld Multilateral Secondary School is this week celebrating its 50th anniversary with a series of activities. On day 3 of the week-long celebrations, students were given an opportunity to look towards their futures during a career fair that brought together international and local representatives, alumni, and supporters of the institution. Jada Joan reports.
As part of its 50th anniversary celebration, the North Rheinveld Multilateral Secondary School today hosted a career fair that saw participation from students, alumni, and international partners, including the United Nations Development Program. As part of the school's success, steel pan plays a major part.
The steel band has been a pinnacle of North Rheinveld Multilateral School. Everybody know North Rheinveld Multilateral steel band time. I mean, there are other players came on and keep the ball rolling. I'm very proud to be part of that program.
United Nations Development Program, UNDP, resident representative in Guyana, Katie Thompson, expressed enthusiasm about engaging with the students, noting the impressive level of ambition among them.
I've been talking to kids who want to be doctors, they want to be engineers, they also want to be entrepreneurs, and I'm super impressed how committed they are at such a young age to staying in Guyana, to working for Guyana, and to being successful.
UNDP also announced its intention to support the school and students through upcoming internship opportunities aimed at harnessing and channeling the energy and enthusiasm of Guyana's youth.
It's been inspiring because that's what UNDP's mission is also about. So we've been here promoting their education, promoting the jobs and skills from the UN.
Also in attendance were the presidents and the representatives of both the US and the Guyana alumni chapters, who shared insights of the students and the school community can expect for the remainder of the anniversary week of activities.
Hi, I'm Renita Tyler. I'm the president of the US Alumni Association chapter, and we're very excited to be here. It took us about 22 months of planning so that we can pull this off. It was a collaboration between the Guyana chapter, the PTA, the teachers, and the US chapter working together.
Today I'm here to try to encourage students to continue educating themselves, always be curious, and find something that you like.
A special feature of the day came from a 1985 graduate nurse attorney, Miss Beverly Ross, Trail Fall. Encourage the youth to remain focused on their goals and to recognize the value of discipline and perseverance in shaping successful futures.
I am a graduate of the North Rheinveld Multilateral Secondary School, class of 1985. I enjoy giving back to Multilateral because I love to inspire the young people to dream big.
The week activity continues with cultural, academic, and celebratory events as the school communities reflect on 50 years of excellence and new opportunities. Jada June reporting for HGP Nightly News.
Anti-drug agents had a busy weekend and have taken some drugs off the streets. 2 men have been jailed while 2 others are being processed for court. Travis Chase reports.
Clarence Jones and Carlos Garwe are now in the custody of the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit, CANU, after anti-drug agents busted them with over 2 pounds of cocaine at Lot 42 F. Hatfield Street, Georgetown. Head of CANU, James Singh, in a press statement highlighted that Jones and Garwe were busted on Monday, September 15, 2025. He said CANU officers were acting on a tip-off. The men are expected in court soon. In separate incidents, 2 men, Jason Bascom and Colin Moore, pleaded guilty to possession of large quantities of cocaine and marijuana for the purpose of trafficking. According to CANU, Jason Bascom appeared before Magistrate Fabea Azor at the Georgetown Magistrates Court and pleaded guilty to possession of over 8 pounds of cannabis for the purpose of trafficking. He was sentenced to 3 years imprisonment and fined $30,000. Meanwhile, at the Sparrandar Magistrates Court, Colin Moore pleaded guilty to possession of 37 pounds of cocaine for the purpose of trafficking. He was sentenced to 4 years imprisonment. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
Stay tuned for regional news.
Good evening, and welcome to Tuesday's edition of the Regional News. I am Antonio Day. We begin with news in Haiti. The United States says that Haiti and the international community must work together to deal with the terrorist gangs operating in the French-speaking Caribbean community country, following last weekend's massacre in La Baudry, which left more than 40 people dead. And I quote, "The United States strongly condemns the terrorist gangs behind this senseless attack. Haitians and international community must work together to stop the terrorist gangs that continue to cause death and destruction with no regard for their compatriots or their country," the country stated. Criminal groups affiliated with the criminal coalition, Vive AMCHAM, are being blamed for the massacre as they fired indiscriminately at residents they accused of being police informants. According to a provisional report by Baptiste Joseph Louis, president of the Administrative Council of Communal Sections of Bukassin, at least 42 bodies had already been counted, including children. Tensions remain high as residents fearing a new wave of executions. The United Nations Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, has also condemned the weekend murders, expressing quote-unquote heartfelt condolences to the victims' families and urged Haitian authorities to pursue justice. Continuing with news in the region. The ranking member of the United States Senate Armed Services Committee, Jack Reed, has strongly condemned the U.S. military strikes in the Caribbean, as President Donald Trump on Monday disclosed that he has ordered a strike on a boat allegedly carrying drugs from Venezuela, killing 3 people on board. President Trump's actions are an outrageous violation of the law and a dangerous assault on our Constitution, said Reed, adding that no president can secretly wage war or carry out unjustified killings. That is authoritarianism, not democracy. These reckless, unauthorized operations not only put American lives at risk, they threaten to ignite a war with Venezuela that would drag our nation into a conflict we did not choose, said Reed, on one just 8 senators in U.S. history to graduate from West Point Military Academy in New York. Meanwhile, 4 Caribbean community countries have been listed in the President Donald Trump's determination on major drug transit or major illicit drug producing countries for fiscal year 2026 and submitted to the United States Congress. According to the document, Trump has identified the Bahamas, Belize, Haiti, and Jamaica as major transit or major illicit drug producing countries. The other countries named are Afghanistan, Bolivia, Burma, the People's Republic of China, Colombia, Costa Rica, the Dominican Republic, Ecuador, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, India, Laos, Mexico, Nicaragua, Pakistan, Panama, Peru, and Venezuela. And finally, with news in Trinidad and Tobago, President Nicolas Maduro on Monday questioned positions adopted by Trinidad and Tobago, accusing the country's Prime Minister, Carmen Cesar, of making almost like a declaration of war against the South American country. Who's behind this? Who's whispering in the ears of this lady? How is she able to declare this war? Maduro told a news conference linking Cesar's comments to United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio, whom he described as the Lord of Death and War of Hate, and accusing him of spreading violence. I'm sure the people of Trinidad and Tobago are against this. We are neighboring countries. You know that Trinidad and Tobago was sold by the Spanish Empire to the British Empire a few years before the independence of Venezuela, Maduro told reporters. He said that Venezuela and Trinidad have shared a life of cooperation and brotherhood, adding that there has never been a governor of Trinidad and Tobago to threaten a war against Venezuela. Last Friday, Prime Minister Cesar brushed aside comments made by the Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodriguez, warning Port of Spain against any plans of aggression against the people of Simon Bolivar. Do not even think about it, Rodriguez said, as Venezuela last Thursday announced the deployment of the Independence 200 plan which will allow for the participation of the Bolivarian National Armed Forces and the militias on 284 battlefronts to guarantee the independence and peace of that country. Speaking to reporters outside the Parliament building, Basad Basesar said, and I quote, "I would dare to do what I have to do to keep the people of Trinidad and Tobago safe. That is my priority. I have set TNT first, and that's my priority," she added. Thank you for watching. I am Antonio Day. Goodbye for now, and be safe.
And now let me welcome you to HGP TV's Sports Pulse with Delwyn Neblett.
Good evening, Guyana. I'm Delwyn Neblett with your HGP TV Sports Pulse for today, Tuesday, September 16, 2025. We begin tonight with domestic basketball. Guyana Basketball Federation's Vice Presidents Roll Tony and Jermaine Slater will represent the sport's local governing body at this year's FIBA America's Midterm Assembly scheduled for October 1 to 5 in Mexico City, Mexico. Tony and Slater are both making their second individual appearance at the assembly, but it will be the first time they are attending together. Tony previously attended the 2023 Assembly in Miami, while Slater attended the 2024 Assembly in Aruba. Guyana's basketball trajectory has continued to improve under the current administration, with a heavy focus on youth and women's development. Most recently, Guyana swept Suriname 2-0 in the Georgetown Women's Basketball Classic at the Cliff Anderson Sports Hall. Moving into some football, Slingers FC will be crowned champions of the Guyana Football Federation's Elite League 2025. Mathematically, even with 3 games remaining in the season, the Slingers Football Club find themselves well clear atop the points table. Amassing a total of 92 goals in 15 matches inclusive of 14 wins and a solitary draw, Slingers with 43 points are now 12 points clear of second place Guyana Police Force FC and can be sure they will lift the trophy and claim their second title at the end of Season 7. The Slingers camp have insisted that even though the championship has been secured, the job is not finished, since the ultimate objective is to end the season with an unbeaten record. Heading into their next fixture, the eminent champions currently enjoy a net goal difference of plus 89, having conceded only 3 goals so far. Also in football, newly appointed head coach of Guyana's senior men's football team, the Golden Jaguars, Thomas Dooley, has officially commenced his engagement with the members of the domestic national player pool. During the coordinated introductory session aimed at setting the tone for his tenure, Dooley took the opportunity to familiarize himself with the players while outlining his expectations for the group going forward. The meeting, though informal, marked the first step in building a working relationship between the new coach and the domestic talent. Formal training sessions under Dooley's management will begin in the coming week, despite the team not having any competitive fixtures remaining in 2025. The groundwork is therefore being laid ahead of the international campaigns, which are scheduled to recommence in the new year. In cricket, defending champions Barbados Royals women secured a 3-run victory over the Ghana Amazon Warriors women on Sunday. Batting first, the Royals reached 132 for 6 from 20. Chanel Henry was unbeaten on 46 from 34, and player of the match Shamari Atapatu scored 37 from 42. Laura Harris picked up 3 for 28 with the ball for the Warriors, and when the Warriors responded, a fighting effort wasn't enough. Despite a brilliant 63 from 50 from Amy Hunter and a runnable 40 from captain Shemaine Campbell, Shamari Atapatu returned with the ball to take 3 for 25 and restrict the Warriors to 129 for 8. The women's CPL resumed today with the Royals women taking on the women of TKR. The finals of this year's women's CPL will be held on Wednesday. Finally, we conclude with the news that former West Indies under-19 and first-class cricketer Stephen Jacobs has been appointed the minister within the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport. Jacobs, who captained Guyana for many years at the junior level, previously served as a Georgetown City Councillor for the ruling People's Progressive Party Civic. Speaking to reporters after being sworn in on Saturday, Jacobs mentioned how elated he was to be able to serve in this capacity and thanks His Excellency for the confidence bestowed in him. He mentioned that what he will bring to the table is the athlete's perspective on the sports side, and also he will be looking to bottle important aspects of Guyana's unique culture and incentivize it. Jacobs has joined the ministry under the senior leadership of the Honorable Charles Ramsden Jr., who has been reappointed to this portfolio for a second term. That's it for this edition of the HGP TV Sports Pulse. I'm Delwyn Neblet, reminding you to stay in the game.
Day 23 of the election fraud trial. AMCHAM observer struggles to recall key events in trial. From the bowels of poverty to Parliament, Dr. Hinds ready to take up parliamentary seat. Legal showdown likely between mayor and the city council and residents of Subrianville over Farnum ground. TASINPANSA Village 2025 kicks off on Main Street. Indigenous nations showcase culture, craft and culinary arts. And in sport, former national cricketer secures ministerial post. Those are our major headlines. For these stories and more, please go to our website. It's www.hgptv.com. I'm ALETHEA Grant. Thanks for watching.